Hey guys, it's Tammy. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing a collab with Julianna's Perfume, and I'm sure they need no introduction. You all know them as one of the top inspiration perfume houses. And out of the blue one day, they emailed me. And at first I was like, oh, shoot, someone's impersonating Julianna's Perfume. Gotta really watch out for those scam emails these days. But it was them. I am pretty new in my perfume journey. As you guys know, it's probably only been 4 or 5 years since I fell down the perfume rabbit hole, but I don't own anything yet by an inspiration house. So lately I've really been wanting to look into some of these brands and try something out, and this email came along just at the perfect time. So I was super excited to see if you could get the same niche experience from an affordable, inspired by perfume, and to see if it would be worth it. And I think it's safe to say it's worth it. But yeah, I chose 4 travel sizes that were my top favorites from the 10 samples they sent me. And I'm telling you, it was hard enough to choose the 10 samples because their selection is amazing, let alone to narrow it down to these 4. So I'm going to be telling you about these 4 perfumes today, and if they sound like something you'd be interested in, or if these are some of the ones that you've been wanting to try, Julianna's Perfume has an amazing deal on their website right now that is these 4 perfumes as a bundle for 40% off. And it's only available for 30 days from the date that I post this video. I mean, really the best part about this whole experience is the fact that they offer travel sizes. If you know that I love travel sizes. If you watch my channel, you've seen me talk about my travel size collection. I just posted a video about it lately. And in that video, I mentioned I have so many perfumes, I just don't go through product that fast. This is all I need. These are really nice bottles. They have a really nice weight to them. The atomizer on these is beautiful. I don't have any travel sizes with that really continuous spraying action. I know which one that one is. So let me tell you how these 4 perfumes smell, how they perform, and for 3 of them, I will tell you exactly how they compare to the original. So let's get started. So I have to start with my favorite, and this is Center of Attention, and it is inspired by Xerjoff's La Capitale. So I recently talked about La Capitale in one of my sample sniff videos, and if you saw that, you saw my reaction to it. I absolutely loved it. I only have the dabber sample of it, but I loved it, and it went straight on my wish list. But then Center of Attention came along, and when I sprayed this out, I got exactly what I was hoping for. Those pretty berries and that sexy oudi vibe. I was wowed. This perfume actually gave me butterflies. I wrote in my notes, OMG. So on paper, I was getting all of that strawberry juiciness, caramel goodness. I was getting vanilla. I was getting the saffron. I was getting the leather. I was getting a jammy rose. Basically, all of my dreams come true. And going by memory, I knew that this was exactly like La Capitale. But of course, I had to compare them on skin. That was what I was most excited for. So right away, they were about 95% similar in the opening. Pretty much identical. Interestingly enough, this is one of the only ones that started out more similar to the original than it ended up. La Capitale had something a little bit odd in it that I couldn't quite figure out, but I mean, they were practically twins. For the next hour or so, I had to really concentrate to be able to tell any difference in the two. But if I had to say, I would say the difference between them would be the way the strawberry note was done. In Center of Attention, I found it a little bit creamier, almost like a strawberry milkshake. I found it a little more natural smelling. And in La Capitale, I just found it a little bit more like strawberry candy, maybe a strawberry starburst, or like a strawberry hard candy with strawberry liqueur inside. It was a little bit more on the candy side, and Center of Attention was a little bit more on the creamy strawberry side. And even then, I would say they were still at least 90% similar. And in the dry down, Center of Attention maintained a really creamy warmth to it, and La Capitale stayed a little bit more like, I want to say sharp, which is like more of a thin sweetness, and this was much more creamy. So I think that oud sensation I'm getting, that woody experience that I'm getting from this, is actually coming from the saffron and the leather. But there's just that, there's no oud listed in the notes, but there's just a perfect balance of that earthy texture to kind of cut through the sweetness of the, caramel and the strawberry and the peach and the vanilla. And like there's rose and ginger, and that gives a little bit of brightness and freshness that kind of like lightens it up and doesn't let it get weighed down and heavy by the labdanum and the amber that's in it. So it's just, I mean, it's just like La Capitale. And can I just say that the performance on both of these is stellar, but center of attention outlasted La Capitale on my skin. And every time I've worn it, I have had major projection. I can smell it all around me. This is a close enough interpretation that having this, I don't see myself ever needing to purchase a full bottle of La Capitale. This is a winner. And now for Aphrodites Rose, and this is inspired by Initio's Atomic Rose. And first spray, I could tell how much this was gonna smell like Atomic Rose. I could tell. I love the sprayers on these. So on paper, I was getting a very pretty rose, sweet and a little bit tart. Not really green, but just a nice earthy, spicy, woody rose. But when I compared the two on skin, the opening was actually fairly different. Atomic Rose had a lot of green bitterness to it. And if you've ever heard me talk about Atomic Rose on my channel, I always say that I love it, but it just has a little bit too much of that green bitterness for me to really enjoy it fully or to ever really purchase a bottle. But with Aphrodites Rose, I'm getting everything I enjoy about Atomic Rose without any of the things that I don't enjoy about it. Aphrodites Rose didn't have any of that green bitterness to it, so it was a lot easier for me to enjoy right off the bat, right from first spray. So I'd say even at that, they probably still started out somewhere around 70% similar. And over the next couple of hours, they slowly morphed into one another to where they were 99% similar, to where I probably couldn't tell them apart if someone asked me to. If I could pick out a difference, I would say maybe Aphrodites Rose has just a little bit more warmth to it. It was giving me a little bit of hints of Delina exclusive. You know, it has that like little bit of a warm vibe to it. And this does have almond in it, and maybe it's coming from that. I actually did compare Delina and Delina exclusive and Aphrodites Rose and Atomic Rose all together. And alongside of the Delina's, Atomic Rose was actually giving even more of that green bitterness. The contrast just made it much more apparent. It was almost a little bit camphorous and almost like a eucalyptus tea tree oil. And that is kind of the green bitterness that I get in Atomic Rose, not through the entire thing, but mostly in the opening. But with Aphrodites Rose, I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to encounter that green bitterness at all. I just get to enjoy the gorgeous sweet rose through the entire time. I get everything great about Atomic Rose and none of the drawbacks, meaning the green bitterness and the price. One thing I noticed in one of my emails from Julianna's Perfume was their slogan, which is "We make great perfumes better." And with this perfume in particular, that was truly the case for me. And Atomic Rose is incredible, but I found an Aphrodites Rose to be even better, to me. And the performance on both of them is crazy amazing. I would say they lasted about the same. This might have even lasted a little bit longer. And one of my favorite things about Aphrodites Rose is how well it layers with the other 3 perfumes that I chose for my bundle. And I'll be telling you about the layering combos towards the end of this video. Next, we have Head Over Heels, and this is inspired by Kilian's Rolling in Love. When it comes to Kilian perfumes, there's only one that I've ever been tempted to buy in spite of the exorbitant prices, and that is Rolling in Love. It just seemed like such a powdery, romantic perfume, but there were things about it that kind of annoyed me. But with Head Over Heels, I get everything that I like about Rolling in Love and none of the things that bother me about it. So when I first sprayed Head Over Heels on paper, I got a lot of brightness and freshness just at first, but almost immediately I got that cozy almond nuttiness. What I was getting on paper was a sweet, nutty woodiness that reminded me almost of cereal, sort of like granola. And I was also getting a little bit of like a fresh orange blossomy sweetness. I don't even think that there's orange blossom in it. It was almost giving me sort of Coca-Cola vibes. Imagine you poured Coca-Cola on your granola. Not only does that rhyme, but it could be really good. Let's not knock it till we try it. So then I went ahead and compared the two on skin, which is always a whole different story than on paper, as you know. And with Head Over Heels, I was getting like warm brown sugar cereal. I was getting sort of cookie vibes. It was very softly sweet, very pretty and delicate. Rolling in Love had a much more intense type of sweetness. It was giving me more of like a maple flavored cereal with artificial maple flavoring. It was so much sweeter in the opening than Head Over Heels that at first I was only giving them about 65% similar. But within a few minutes, Rolling in Love started to tame down. Some of that artificial sweetness started to die down. And the more it did, the closer they got. And so by about an hour later, they were pretty much 90% similar. So I would say Head Over Heels is giving me a spiced cookie, not gingerbread, but it's like almost like a buttery spiced almond cookie, just barely drizzled with caramel icing. I do find the orris in Head Over Heels to be somewhere in between buttery and powdery, so that it gives a very velvety feeling. The floral sweetness in here is really pretty too. The jasmine and the tuberose start to come out, and the florals do come out in Rolling in Love as well, but it just takes quite a while for that artificial maple sweetness to die down in that one. But eventually they did get to the point where I literally could not tell them apart. It's just that with Rolling in Love, I had to wait until an hour or two into the dry down before I could fully enjoy it. And with Head Over Heels, I enjoyed it right from first spray. It's cozy, it's sweet, but not too sweet. It's floral, but not overpoweringly so. It's like the perfect balance between buttery and powdery. It gives a very velvety, cozy experience. And the performance is awesome on this as well. Lasted me 4 hours, projected really well. My husband loved this on me, so that's always a bonus. On skin, it did last a little bit longer than Rolling in Love. Head Over Heels is just so good, you guys. So the last fragrance in my bundle is Miss Fuchsia. And this is inspired by Kilian's Princess, combined with Parfums de Marly Oriana. I do have a sample of Princess, but I don't have a sample of Oriana, so I wasn't able to give you a direct comparison for this one, but I can tell you what it smelled like to me. So the first time I sprayed out Miss Fuchsia on paper, I got a very direct likeness of root beer. But then a fresh citrus and like a clean orange blossom smell. It just slowly started to come out and gave it, I still got the root beer vibe, but it was kind of surrounded by a very pretty, sweetly soapy floral. Now, personally, I do gravitate towards perfumes that smell like root beer. I own Scandale Le Parfum by Jean-Paul Gaultier, and that gives me root beer vibes. I also own Anjou Dimon, that's like a powdery root beer smell to me. I've even had Hypnotic Poison, which I returned, not because I didn't like the root beer, but because it went too smoky in the dry down. But I've always been very drawn to that scent profile, and I think I finally found my perfect root beer type scent. Nowhere is this described as smelling like root beer at all. It's just what I'm smelling out of it. So I thought I'd compare it to a root beer style sample that I have, and that is Mandorlo di Sicilia by Acqua di Parma. So side by side, Miss Fuchsia was more of a marshmallowy vanilla root beer, and it had some pretty florals, and that ambrette gave it a really cozy, musky softness. Mandorlo di Sicilia was more of a realistic, sharp, sparkling root beer smell. It had some appley touches and woody touches, a little bit of herbalness to it. It was like Mandorlo di Sicilia was the masculine version and Miss Fuchsia was the feminine version. And so over time, Miss Fuchsia was so soft and pillowy. I was getting orange blossom, but it's just so marshmallowy, fruity, musky. I'll tell you what came to mind when I first smelled Miss Fuchsia. I was sitting in an old-fashioned diner drinking a root beer float with vanilla ice cream and all kinds of toppings on it. There was raspberry sauce drizzled over the top, mini marshmallows sprinkled on top, a little, garnish of orange blossom on the side. And I was sitting in the booth across from my friend who was drinking their steaming hot cup of green tea with ginger. You do barely just get hints and wafts of the freshness from the green tea and the ginger and the citrus notes in here. But the main scent experience you're getting, or at least the main scent experience I'm getting, is a root beer float with all the toppings. There's ambrette in here and sweet musk, and they give just such a warm, cozy, musky base to this. Now, I don't see this scent as a full bottle on the website right now. They may be phasing it out, I'm not sure, but it is available in my bundle, so if it sounds like something you'd be interested in, this would be a great chance for you to check it out. So I just want to talk real quick about some of the layering combos that I tried out with these 4 perfumes. Y'all know that I love to layer everything with rose these days, so the first combo that I tried out was Aphrodites Rose layered with Center of Attention. I wore this combination out to the grocery store one night, and I don't think I've ever had that much fun grocery shopping in my life. This is a fire combo. These 2 scents are the strongest out of the entire bundle. So put them together, and I just thought I was all that wearing these. I felt like queen of the world. So I took Head Over Heels, and I layered that with Aphrodites Rose, and it was just the sexy boost it needed to take Head Over Heels from to This was such a good combo. Let me just go ahead and say that I think any of these would layer well together. You could probably wear all 4 and smell bomb. Aphrodites Rose is the strongest out of all 4, so no matter what one you choose, if you layer Aphrodites Rose with it, only use 2 sprays. So what I'll probably be doing is layering Aphrodites Rose with 1 at a time. So you'll probably want to do like 6 sprays of the first perfume and only 2 of Aphrodites Rose. Trust me, it's enough. So one of the reasons that I chose 4 is because I thought it'd be kind of fun to have 1 for each season. I do a lot of things seasonally. I do my perfume tray by the season. I have a lot of videos about 1 for each season. And anyways, I just decided that Head Over Heels would be great for spring because spring can be kind of cool and damp, and Head Over Heels is going to give you that powdery, cozy cloud around you that's going to keep you warm and cozy. I chose Miss Fuchsia for summer because when else would you rather be drinking a root beer float in a diner than summer? I would wear Center of Attention in the fall because it is sweet and sexy and it would stand up to those cool, dry fall days. And Aphrodites Rose would obviously be for winter because it is an absolute powerhouse. So thank you, Julianna's Perfume, so much for reaching out to me. I've been hearing about you guys for ages. And I remember back in the day, I remember Amy and Jackie and Sharita and all the girls talking about Julianna's Perfumes and being so interested in them. And honestly, one of the things that stood out to me and that I remember is that they always said that Julianna's Perfume wanted them to be 100% honest, give their unbiased opinion, talk about perfumes they loved, perfumes they hated. And I just kind of felt really safe and comfortable doing this collab with Julianna's Perfume. And I just want to thank you guys so much. So don't forget about my custom bundle of these 4 travel size perfumes at a 40% discount. I'm going to leave it linked in the description box below. Just click on it. It will take you to this page with these 4. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, don't worry, I don't make anything off you buying that or anything. It's just for you if you want it. And it's only going to be available for 30 days from the day I post this video. And you may also want to know that they offer free shipping within the 48 contiguous US states, as well as a 90-day money-back guarantee on anything ordered on the website, not just the bundle. Let me know if you guys are interested in this. If you grab it or one of the other creator bundles on the website, I'd be interested to know. I'm so happy to have these perfumes, and this has been a great experience. Thank you again to Julianna's Perfume, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.